beneath the glittering lights of Crypto.com Arena, where every pass echoes with the weight of Lakers legends past. From Magic Johnson's dazzling no-look assists during the Showtime era to Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal carving their names in history with a three-peat dynasty, and later the back-to-back triumphs in 2010 fueled by relentless heart, capped off by the tear-jerking 2020 bubble championship that united a city bruised by adversity. There now simmers an electrifying saga centered on the unassuming yet fiercely determined Austin Reaves, whose next contract could ignite seismic ripples across the purple and gold universe. Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with purple and gold passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. The current offseason buzz has hovered over superstars like Luka Doncic and LeBron James, whose futures have mercifully been penciled in, giving Lakers fans a momentary respite to focus on the rising star whose journey embodies the grit and grind that epitomizes this franchise's soul. Austin Reaves, once an undrafted underdog who made a strategic decision to bet on the Lakers, has blossomed into a beacon of hope and possibility, averaging a career-high 20 points for 0.5 rebounds and 5.8 assists last season, clearly elevating himself beyond mere role-player status. And now, with his contract set to expire next summer, whispers have grown louder, with insiders like Jovan Buha revealing that league executives are penciling him in as a $30 million plus player evaluation that's not just a hopeful projection, but a serious consideration among the NBA's front office brass. Bua's recent commentary on Spectrum Sportsnet laid it bare. The Lakers are expected to offer Reaves a multi-year deal in the $30 to $35 million annual range, placing him alongside the likes of Immanuel Quickley and Tyler Herro, scorers whose firepower and accolades justify sizable paychecks. But here's the under-the-radar bomb no one saw coming. What if this price tag becomes the epicenter of a roster chess match that tears apart the fragile chemistry forged in Los Angeles? Reaves, who turned down a previous extension and seems unwavering in his commitment to the Lakers, remember, this is a man who chose to go undrafted specifically to sign with LA, could soon find himself at the crossroads of loyalty and market value in a league rife with cap gymnastics and blockbuster trades. The very idea of Reaves joining another contender like the Golden State Warriors has flirted with rumor mill frenzy, igniting impassioned debate across social media and locker rooms alike. Could the Warriors, with their own star-studded lineup and championship pedigree, poach the crafty guard whose blend of three-point shooting, playmaking, and defensive hustle would bolster their depth chart substantially? Such a move would not only rattle the Western Conference balance, but would deepen questions around the Lakers' cap flexibility, especially as Rob Pelinka juggles retaining LeBron James and Anthony Davis while surrounded by emerging talents like Rui Hachimura, Max Christie, and Jackson Hayes, not to mention managing a salary cap landscape complicated by rising player salaries and the ever-looming luxury tax. Historically, the Lakers have thrived when they balance superstar power with savvy role players who elevate the entire squad. Think Derek Fisher's clutch shots alongside Bryant in those epic finals runs. But would a $30 million annual commitment to Reaves limit the front office's ability to pursue elite free agents or trade market targets, especially as the franchise aims to not just sneak into the playoffs, but dominate a revamped and hungry Western Conference with teams like the Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns, and new-look Clippers all eyeing supremacy? Fans have already witnessed the swell of passion from Reaves, whose fiery play and locker room charisma echo past heroes who embodied Lakers grit. But the stakes for 2025 to 26 could be his make-or-break year, with Doncic's star continuing to ascend in the shifting power dynamics at play among NBA Titans. The pressure mounts for Reaves to prove he's not just an efficient third option alongside the future Hall of Famers, but also that his contract's hefty number is a rightful investment and not a misstep by a franchise desperate to balance loyalty with championship aspiration. How will Austin manage this delicate dance between proving his worth on hardwood floors every night, amid the brutal Western Conference grind, and navigating whispers of a Warriors allure that could test his purple and gold allegiance, all the while? Pelinka's quiet scheming behind closed doors adds another layer to the intrigue. Will he double down on homegrown talent like Reaves, or will salary cap constraints force tough decisions reminiscent of the painful departures that shattered previous Lakers rosters? It's a tantalizing tension that pulses through the veins of every Lakers faithful, a narrative steeped in legacy yet fraught with uncertainty. Will Reaves' commitment become the spark that fuels a new dynasty, or will the mounting pressure reveal cracks in a fragile construct that once again forces LA to rebuild from the ashes? As a lifelong Lakers believer, my pulse is racing just writing this. Haunted by dreams of the purple and gold glory days, yet wary of the thin line between triumph and heartbreak. But is this the ignition point for our next title run, or the crack that splits our legacy? Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there. Heart in hand. The very air inside Crypto.com tonight could slice through bone a cocktail of burnt popcorn, fresh hardwood, and electric anticipation buzzing like a live wire about to short-circuit every Laker. Soul in the building, and as Austin Reaves stands on that razor's edge between legend and ledger, you can almost feel the pulse of history racing in tandem with his rising star. Everybody asking, can this kid, the undrafted dream with the scrappy heart of a lion, really become the fulcrum that tilts the Lakers back toward domination, or is he the fault line where everything might fracture? The whisper Carters of the front office are becoming a pressure cooker slammed shut. Pelinka staring down the must-make deal that carries more weight than a 10-ton haul, juggling LeBron and AD's hefty demands, the suffocating cap constraints, and now Reaves' looming contract that threatens to siphon over $30 million of that precious space. And here's the kicker, Reaves isn't just a cog in this machine. He's potentially the catalyst for a seismic shift that could either birth a fresh dynasty or blow the lid off the fragile chemistry that bubbled painstakingly all season long. You want to talk about loyalty? This is a kid who rejected prior extensions, choosing instead to bet everything on the Lakers when the majority of the league overlooked him. Who's answered every game night call with grit you can't script, but the salary whispers creeping from the Warriors camp like a shadow stalking the brightest flame? That's a thunderclap in the still LA night. Imagine the narrative twist of shoulder to shoulder alongside Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. Reaves picks his spots not for purple and gold, but blue and yellow. Do you hear the phantom moans ripple through the stands? It's a gut-wrenching plotline straight out of a Hollywood script. Meanwhile, the locker room locker is tightening. What happens when LeBron, the king himself, sees a rising young phenom flush with a near max-level contract? Does it sow admiration or tension? History's shown us that superstar egos contend most fiercely when contracts shift the power dynamics, turning allies into wary rivals. And what about AD, the colossal force knocking on hell's door again? Whose finite years at superhuman levels might force the franchise to recalibrate around a new axis? Can Reaves step confidently into that orbit, or will he chafe given the stakes off to the side? Rui Hachimura, Max Christie, and Jackson Hayes watch their own futures hazy mosaics in this puzzle of personnel and purses. The Western Conference isn't a playground for second chances. The Nuggets are waiting to exploit the slightest crack, the Suns circling like solar flares ready to blindside, and the Clippers sharpening their claws in shadows, waiting to pounce on any Lakers misstep. Every Draymond Green clap, every Chris Paul whisper fills the air with menace. The entire conference collectively hungry to take down the purple throne. And you feel it in the stadium, every bounce of the ball, every shout from the crowd, layered with a tension tight as a snare drum, a coiled spring humming just beneath the surface, ready to rip apart or launch sky high on a moment's spark. The hum of panic mingles with hope and the scent of freshly minted jerseys as fans debate hotly. If the Lakers sink $30 million a year into Reaves, can Pelinka still chase the blockbuster free agents who might push this squad into the stratosphere? Or does it leave the team boxed in, forced to gamble on internal development and wing it against juggernauts? Stacked with star firepower, imagine the front office war rooms, voices low but sharp, poring over cap spreadsheets as if they are sacred texts, sweating over every last dollar like a frayed wire powering an unstable grid. And here's the clause in that deal nobody's talking about. If the Lakers choose to tether Reaves with a big money multi-year contract now, the risk isn't just financial, it's strategic and emotional. What if the deal curtails the franchise's flexibility to land another superstar before the trade deadlines, or worse, shackles the team to a timetable that misaligns with LeBron and Davis's sunset window? Now, picture the locker room dynamic during training camp when the magnifying glass intensifies every second. Look, the quiet discussions, the subtle shifts in pregame warm-ups. Can Reaves maintain his fierce hunger without bruising camaraderie? Will he carry the burden of being the team's deserved new max, the face of a young Lakers future? Or will the mantle weigh heavy and crack his once boundless energy? And what does this mean for LeBron's legacy? King James has been the magnetic North Star for years, eclipsing nearly every rivalry. Guiding the purple and gold ship through storm and triumph, could the rise of Reaves mark the first real shift in that planetary pull, the initial spark of a power transition? Or will it breed division that dilutes the kingdom's might? Now imagine this. The Warriors do throw that tantalizing offer on the table. What if Reaves listens? What if the lure of a three-peat contender, a potent and hungry squad built around a Hall of Famer in his prime, tempted by the chance to rewrite the Western Conference script, is enough to crack his resolve? That's the kind of gut punch purple and gold diehard wants to swallow, but it's the real talk swirling in barbershops, parking lots, and Twitter threads from Venice Beach to the San Fernando Valley. And all of the narrative ratchets faster. Ruiz his own wild card. With his smooth stroke and buzzworthy potential, could he become the sacrificial chess piece in a salary cap squeeze, or a complementary piece that adds lethal versatility? Max Christie and Jackson Hayes, raw and hungry, itching for their moment, possibly poised to eat a still Reaves' thunder or be overshadowed entirely, depending on how this contract saga unfolds. This is a high-stakes poker game with the entire Lakers franchise on the table, and the tension is suffocating. Even the ghost of Kobe whispers in the rafters, reminding us, Mamba mentality isn't just about scoring, it's about rising when the game threatens to break you. About clutch beyond dollars or contracts. The scene crackles electric tonight, with that ancient magic that once turned Showtime into an unstoppable force. Only now the drama is in the numbers, the hidden clauses, and the loyalty of a scrappy kid lifted by city-sized dreams. And it deepens. The highest-stakes scenario is not just a contract, but a crucible that could redefine the Lakers' blueprint for the next decade. Do they prioritize loyalty and homegrown grit at a premium cost, or gamble that their legacies' next chapters can be carved with marquee acquisitions? That's the question burning in every anxious pulse behind the bench and in every frenzied yell from the stands. What happens if the team's calculated gamble on Reaves' growth backfires, and that huge contract becomes a millstone instead of a crown? Could this put in motion a domino effect that forces a painful dismantling, like the heartbreaking offseason exoticism of the past? Or is it the ignition point for the purple and gold to rise again, bruised but unbroken, embracing their history, while charging into the chaos of a ruthless Western gauntlet? And as you ponder that, remember the tale of the 2020 bubble, the triumph born from isolation and adversity. Could that spirit rise anew from this contract crucible? Or will the weight of money and ego grind the Lakers down once more? Fans are more divided than ever, some chanting loyalty, others screaming for pragmatic moves. And through it all, Reaves keeps grinding, the emblem of Lakers grit against a merciless grind. As a Laker till I draw my last breath, I can feel the earthquake rumbling under this season. Now tell me what's rattling your soul, because the firestorm hasn't even peaked. Look, from where I stand, Austin's on the cusp of something monumental. He's earned every penny he's poised to make, and then some, and if the Lakers trust him fully, we might just be witnessing the blueprint for a new dynasty. But if management hesitates or the market jitters seep into that locker room vibe, this could spiral faster than a fast break, and no one wants to relive those soul-crushing rebuild years. I think Reaves' heart is locked solid purple and gold. Now it's on us and the front office to match that fire with smart moves, because this franchise deserves nothing less than a shot at glory that echoes through generations.